name is Lindy. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to go on a yoga and meditation and breathing journey. This is a chair to mat class. So some of you may choose to use a chair and some of you may choose to do ground and standing poses. I'll give variations for both. I'll also offer options for props and give you some options for things you can use at home if you don't have these things along the way. Some of you may have done this before, and maybe some of you haven't. Before we begin, I want to explain why these things, why meditation and movement is so important. You've already heard that breath is so important, helps reduce stress, and all these things are true and very important. I once had a student explain to me that meditation is an intentional, dedicated mental break for her mind. There is a lot of stress in our days, and we don't give a lot of time during our busy day to give ourselves intentional rest. Many people exercise vigorously, strenuously, to help give their muscles what they need. We take care of the physical muscles sometimes, but how often do we take care of our mental muscles? Giving our mind that dedicated time and space to really relax, to breathe, and to focus could just be the missing piece of the puzzle in your life. So as we contemplate this, let's come into a comfortable seated position. If you're choosing to do this from a chair, you can bring your feet flat on the mat. Your hands are resting on your thighs. Let your back rest against the back of the chair. Your shoulders drop down the spine. Top of your head reaches towards the ceiling. And if you're taking this from the ground, you would take that same series of movements, but either from a crisscross applesauce or extending your legs long, bending the knees, letting your arms rest on the knees, or any other comfortable seated position that feels good, where you can keep your spine straight and upright. Once you find that perfect seated position for you to ground in, let's allow our eyes to close and our gaze to soften. We'll take a deep breath in, we'll hold it at the top, and then let's exhale to release. Let's take a few more deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. We'll continue this type of breathing, this deep breath in and that slow, steady breath out throughout each pose in our practice. And if you can't take that deep, full breath, then maybe coming out of the pose just a little bit. Let's start to notice our external surroundings by noticing the temperature of the air that surrounds you. And then noticing your clothes touching your body. Notice the parts of your body that are touching the floor or chair. And then start to take that awareness a little deeper as we go into our body. We start to notice any aches, any pains, any tweaks or twinges, any energies, emotions, or even just sensations in our body. Let's not judge them. Let's just simply bring our awareness to accepting and allowing. And taking a deep breath in, and with that deep breath out, softening, purposefully relaxing any of those things that you're feeling. And then let's take a gentle breathing exercise as we start our practice today. We'll breathe in for a count of 1, 2, 3. As we reach the top of that breath, we'll hold for a count of 3, 2, 1. And then we'll exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, extending it twice as long as the count for the inhale and the pause. We'll continue this cycle of breath, making sure to adjust for your lung capacity. So maybe a 3-3-6 doesn't feel right, but a 2-2-4 or a 5-5-10 would feel better for your lungs. Continuing this cycle of breath, we notice the function of the breath. And what this does is allows us to release any flight or flight symptoms, relaxing on command. It also allows us to focus on the function of the breath, the feeling of it in our lungs, in our body, the count, which takes us away from any planning, any to-dos, any worrying, any things that are not the present moment. You're doing a wonderful job. We'll just take one more cycle of breath, inhaling fully, exhale completely. Beautiful job. As you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers and toes, adding just a little bit of movement, and then flutter your eyes open. We'll sit still for a moment, reacclimating to where we're at. And then let's take our shoulders in circles back away from us, letting our hands slide on our legs as we notice the rotation. All right, pause that and take them forward. All right, let's go ahead and pause that. And then let's inhale, we'll circle our hands, reaching fingertips high. And then with the exhale, look between your hands, bring the palms together as you draw them down towards your heart. Begin pressing the palms together, actively aligning your wrist and your elbows to make a straight line, loading those joints. And let's take 2 more big breaths. Like that. Inhale, circle hands out to the side and up. Exhale, we come down through the center. Inhale, we circle out, around and up. Exhale, let's come through center. Great job. We'll bring our hands down to our left. And then let's take a side bend here. So if you're choosing to stay in the chair for now, we'll grab our right side of our chair, lifting our left hand overhead. If you're on the seated ground position, you're more than welcome to bring your right hand down to the mat beside you. Inhale, circle that left hand up. Whether you're seated in the chair or seated on the ground, we'll begin to bend over towards the right side, taking our left hand and rainbow arcing it over our head. And we want to notice what's going on with our neck whenever we're taking these side bends. We want to make sure our neck is strong and steady. So some people prefer to look down at their lower hand. Some people prefer to look out at the horizon. And some people still prefer to look up at their upper hand. Feel free to look at any of these or any variation in between, but making sure your neck feels strong and secure and steady the whole time. Great job. Let's inhale. We'll come through center. Both arms reach up. And then let's take a twist. We'll bring our left hand to our right knee. We'll take that right hand behind us, either to the mat or to the back of the chair somewhere if you're using the chair. We'll then begin to turn our gaze over towards that right shoulder. With each inhale, grow taller. And each exhale, turn a little bit more towards that right shoulder. Making sure not to push in to any tweaks or twinges. We want to simply push to our edge and then hold there. As we progress through moves, maybe we get a little bit deeper. Let's inhale, circle hands up and overhead, and then take the left hand outside of the left hip to the floor or to the side of the chair as we start to hinge and rainbow arc our right hand over towards the left. Notice if you're curling in here, we want to open that top shoulder, open our chest towards the ceiling. Great job. Let's inhale through center. Both arms reach up and overhead. With our exhale, let's twist and hinge towards that left shoulder. Capture the left knee with the right hand. And bring that left hand to secure yourself behind you. Beautiful job. Let's come through center. Circle arms up and overhead. And with an exhale, we'll bring our hands to the, if you're on the mat, we'll bring your hands to the mat. And we'll start to walk our hands forward. If you're on a chair, taking that chair pose, bring your hands to the fronts of your legs and then start to hinge forward, dropping your chin towards your knees. Now, anytime we're taking forward folds, we need to be mindful of our high blood pressure. If you do have high blood pressure, we want to keep our head elevated above our heart at all times and make sure we don't drop our head lower than our heart, which can aggravate high blood pressure. So we're taking this forward fold either over those bent knees or over your legs. And then let's press into our legs, press into our hands, rising back up. Great job. Let's just get a little bit of spine movement here as we take some cat-cows. Now, if you're sitting on the floor and you're taking a crisscross applesauce, go ahead and switch the crisscross applesauce on your legs so we balance things out. If you're sitting in the chair, we want to make sure that we come to the front of our chair and that our feet are making solid contact with the floor. We also want to make sure our chair is solid, with either being on a yoga sticky mat or up against a wall for support. We're going to bring our hands to our knees and sit our spine up tall, pulling the top of the head towards the ceiling. And then we're going to take a few cat-cow variations. So as we inhale, we hold our knees, pulling our heart forward, arching the spine. Allow your chin to come up, your gaze to come up, and then pull your shoulder blades back away from you. And then with our exhale, we'll take our spine in the opposite direction. We'll curl our chin to chest, roll round through the spine, and we'll tuck our tailbone under. Coming back through a few times, inhaling forward, exhaling back. Great movement here. All right, let's come to find some stillness. We'll take our right leg and we'll send it out long. If you're on the floor, bring your left foot inside of your leg and let the knee fall out to the side if that feels good, or you can send the other one out long if that feels better. If you're using the chair, keep your left foot firmly planted with that 90-degree bend, but send that right leg out long and to the side just a little bit. We're going to inhale, circle our hands up and overhead, reaching fingertips high. And then exhale, bring hands down to your leg and begin to walk them down your leg. If you're on the floor, you can hinge and forward fold over that leg. Hands can rest either on the mat, just on the leg, or maybe grabbing the toe or foot. A very helpful strap item for these kind of forward folds can be a yoga strap. So whether you're on the ground or whether you are on a chair, maybe bringing something like a yoga strap. That can be a scarf, a towel, a tie, a belt, really anything long and skinny. And this helps extend your arms. Great job. One more breath in our forward fold. And then let's inhale, coming up to a straight spine. We'll bend that knee, coming back. And then let's send the opposite leg out long. Setting up on the other side. We inhale, circle those arms up and overhead. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Finding your grip again, floor, leg, maybe grabbing around on the strap or the foot. We lean and hinge forward. All right, let's inhale. We'll come back up to a straight spine. We'll come into our crisscross applesauce on the second side. So second knee in front, or come back to your seated mountain, both feet firmly planted. We're going to take some torso circles. So we're going to grab our knees and we're going to take our torso in a wide of a circle as we can. Leaning forward, curling back, going in one direction for a couple of circles. And then we'll pause and we'll take that in the other direction, noticing this hip movement here. Great job. Let's go ahead and sit up tall. We'll then drop our left ear to our left shoulder, feeling a lengthening here along our right side of our neck. Can you take your chin down towards your armpit, opening up through this back side of the neck? And then inhale, maybe gaze up towards the sky, opening up through the right front side of the neck. Great job. Let's bring our head through neutral, gazing at the horizon. And then we'll drop our right ear to our right shoulder. Feeling the opening through the right side of the neck, our left side of the neck. Good job. Go ahead and take your chin towards your armpit. Inhale as we look up towards the ceiling, opening up through the left front side of the neck. Great job. We'll come back through neutral. And this time, let's take our hands. We're going to bring them to a prayer at our heart. Interlace the fingers, bringing them into a nice little row here. And then as we inhale, start to bring them under your chin as you press your gaze up, lengthening through the front of the neck. Big breaths. Great job. Exhale, release the hands down to a prayer. We'll release them and circle them up and overhead. We'll interlace again. This time we're going to flip the palms, pressing them away as we feel our shoulder blades behind our spine. Great job. Drop your hands behind your head, letting them rest on your orbital bone. And then pull your elbows out wide to the side. Exhale, curl your chin to your chest and round your elbows towards each other. Take 2 more big breaths like that. Inhaling, opening up. Exhaling, re-round and curling. Great job. Inhale, open up. Exhale, round and curl in. One last time. Inhale, we open up. Exhale, curl in. On our inhale, we push those palms, fingers interlaced back towards the ceiling. And then with an exhale, release the fingers and then rain them down towards the floor. Around towards your hips. Great job. Let's just do a few wrist stretches before we move on to some more active poses. We really just want to move through all the different parts of our body. So you can either stay here in your crisscross applesauce if you're feeling like you've balanced the sides out, maybe switching up the leg crossing again. If you're sitting in your chair, we'll stay here. And then let's inhale, bring our hands up, chest height, about shoulder distance apart. We're going to push our palms away like we're doing stop in the name of love. Okay, great. Now flip those palms down. We'll take our left hand across our right hand and fingers. We'll draw that wrist, those fingertips towards our body. We don't want to force, but we are stretching through this front side, top part of our wrist. Great job. Pause there, flip and switch. Couple of breaths on this side. Great job. Let's go ahead and flip again. This time, palms press away from you and thumbs out. We're going to take that same movement, grabbing our hand and our fingertips, and we're going to start to draw those fingertips back towards the body, all together. Great job. Then we're going to move from one finger all the way down the row. One full breath each finger. We'll start with 2 fingers on the left hand. We'll pull our pinky finger back towards our body. Inhale as we pull, exhale to release. We go to our ring finger. Inhale, pull, exhale, release. We'll continue down the line. Inhale to pull back toward you, exhale to release. And then when you get to your thumb, instead of pulling down, we want to pull out to the side and then back towards your arm. Great job. Let's go ahead and flip over to the other side. First, we pull all fingers back, stretching through the underside of our wrist this time. And then we'll start with our last finger, moving all the way to our thumb. One breath per finger. Beautiful job. Once you finish that last one, go ahead and shake your hands out, wiggle it all out, and great. Let's go ahead and start to work on our lower body a little bit more. So for this next series of poses, we're going to come either standing or you can stay seated. Again, I'll give both options. We're going to first come in to a warrior two. So for warrior two, from the seated position, we're going to bring our right thigh to the front part of the chair with a 90-degree bend in that front leg. If your foot doesn't reach the ground, you can bring a prop underneath it to help your foot reach the ground and add a little bit of stability here. Our left leg, we're going to step it out to the side, working the foot flat towards the ground. We're going to sit up tall in our spine and then open the arms out wide to a T. If you're taking this from a standing position, you can either keep your chair nearby for support by bringing it to the front side of your mat and having it within arm's distance, or move it off to the side if you need a little bit more space. We're going to make that same shape in our body, bending that front leg. Send that back foot back, the toes pointing towards the side of the mat, the heel pointing towards the center. Hips are open out towards the side, and then we inhale, arms up. Again, maybe support, maybe not. Pull fingertips away from each other. And whether you're in the chair or you're standing, make sure you're pulling your belly button back for support. Great job. Let's drop your left hand down that back leg, and then inhale, lift your right hand to the sky as we come into our reverse warrior, opening up through the front of the body. Beautiful job. Let's exhale. We'll drop our front hand either to the chair if you're standing behind it, or you can maybe even bring an elbow to the knee or a hand to the back of the chair as you lift that top hand up towards the sky. Big breaths in and out. Great job. Let's inhale, coming back to our warrior two. Tall spine, spreading fingertips wide. And then let's straighten that front leg. We'll circle our hands to grab the chair, and then let's step up behind our chair. Go ahead and give your legs a wiggle. If you're seated in the chair, just come back through center, wiggle the legs out, and we'll set up for that on the other side. Bringing our left foot to the front, sending our right foot back, bending through the knees, we send arms out long, pulling belly button to spine, sitting up tall. You're doing a wonderful job today. One last breath here in a warrior two before we start to find our fluid motion. And then let's drop that back hand down the back leg, lifting our front hand towards the sky, reversing your warrior. Beautiful job. Exhale, warrior two. And then drop that front hand back a chair somewhere or to your front knee. And then circle that back hand up to the sky, or maybe even rainbow arc it long overhead. Beautiful job. Inhaling, we come back through our warrior two. We'll send our front leg long, and then we'll come back either in our mountain behind our chair or seated in our chair. Beautiful job. Let's take one balance pose before we start to move into our cool down portion today. So we're going to come into a tree pose. Again, you can maybe do this on your seat, staying seated firmly in your chair, and take the movement with your legs. Or you could come up standing behind your chair, holding your chair for a little bit more support. I'll demonstrate the standing version, and then I'll come back and demonstrate the seated version. For our standing version, we're going to come behind our chair. You can either stand behind it like this or next to it, opening yourself up away from it. Either option is fine, but finding the one that feels best for you and how you feel stable. Bring your feet to a comfortable distance apart, making sure to keep a bend in the knees. And then we're going to shift our weight to our right leg. Now, if your chair is closest to your right leg, that's fine. We're going to be lifting our left leg. So if your chair is closest to your left leg, switch it around. We're going to lift our left leg up to knee height or hip height, open it out to the side, and then bring our foot maybe to our ankle. Maybe the toes can come to the ground. Maybe they come to the inner thigh or the inner calf. Great job. Now once we're here, we find a spot on the floor that doesn't move. Great job. Now maybe you're taking this from the seated position, and you do that same thing. Lift it up, open it out to the side, and then find its home along the other foot. You're still getting this opening action in the inner hip, but taking the balance and stability out of it just a little bit. Now, whichever version you're choosing, we want our spine to be tall, standing up as high as we can. And then maybe start to explore your branches. You can always leave them holding onto something for stability. But maybe for a challenge, you bring your hands to a prayer at your heart. Or maybe you start to grow branches, letting your arms grow up tall. Always gazing forward, no matter which variation you're choosing. Great job. Let's exhale. If your hands are lifted, go ahead and lower them through a prayer, releasing to a chair maybe for stability. And then we'll set our left foot back on the ground and go ahead and wiggle and shake. And let's move that to the other side. Either switching the chair or staying where you are and switching yourself. Alrighty. Go ahead and wiggle. Make sure you're set up fully weighted on both sides, feeling stable. And then when you're ready, shift over to the left side, lift that right knee up waist high. We're going to open it out to the side, and then it's going to find its home somewhere along that left leg. Your hands can stay maybe planted on a chair, or maybe you start to find hands in prayer or even lifted overhead. Find that spot on the floor that's not moving. Stare at that. That can add a whole lot of balance to your day. And always remembering to let a little smile sneak on your face, as balancing can be so challenging. And you're doing a fantastic job. All right, let's go ahead and release that left foot down, grabbing the chair for support. Shake and wiggle. Great job. We're going to take one downward dog. Now, if you are choosing the chair and the chair poses, you can come into that forward fold we did earlier in the class, leaning over your thighs, if you'd like to take that for your forward fold. But if you'd like to come to a downward dog using a chair, your hands can either come to the back high part of the chair or even one of the lower parts of the chair as we start to shift our hips back. Walk our feet away. We start to drop our gaze in between our arms, our ears come between our elbows. Keep a bend in your knees. You can have your heels either on the floor or lifted. And And then find just a little bit of movement, lifting one heel and then the other. Maybe shake your head a little bit, yes, and then no. Slide the jaw from left to right. We'll find some stillness. And let's take 3 big breaths here together. Inhale fully. Exhale completely, allowing yourself to soften any tension in your body. Let's inhale together. Let's exhale. Maybe we let out a sigh. Great job. One more time. Great big full inhale. We exhale, maybe out with a sigh. If you're standing behind your chair, we'll start to walk towards our chair. If you're leaning over in a forward fold, we'll start to bring our torso up straight, coming to our either seated or standing mountain pose. Beautiful flow today. From here, we're going to start to come down into our cool down portion. You have 2 options. You can come back into the chair, or you could come down onto the ground, making sure that you're paying attention to how easy it is to get back off the ground as part of your decision. If you're going to come into a chair position, come back into that seated chair position, feet firmly on the floor. If you are coming down onto the ground, I want you to come onto your back, tuck your chin towards your chest to lengthen out through the spine, and then roll your knees up, starting to hug them in towards your chest. You can hug them both in or do one at a time. If you're sitting in the chair, we're going to hug in one knee at a time because it can be quite unbalancing to do both. So we'll hug in the right knee, and then we'll set that down, and then we'll hug in the left knee, set that down. You feel like you have the balance. Maybe you lift both knees and come into that ball shape, but making sure to always feel sturdy, no matter which way, and not like you're going to fall out of your chair. All right, we'll take this a couple more times. If you're in the seated position, left and right, creating that little bit of compression. And then we're going to take a gentle twist. So if you're sitting in your chair, move your knees to the right, and then lean back on your chair and take that right shoulder over towards the chair. You can go ahead and grab anywhere on your chair that feels comfortable as you start to gaze over towards that right side of the room. Your left hand can rest either on your body, or if you want to let it flail out to the side somewhere, that can feel really nice on the shoulder. If you're on the ground, you're going to move from that ball position, and you're going to allow your knees to fall towards the left. You're going to take your arms either to a cactus or a T. Your legs can stay stacked or staggered. You could even add a prop in between or under the knees for a little more support. Gazing towards your right shoulder, if that feels like an appropriate stretch for your neck. Great job. Let's everyone come back through center. And then we'll take that on the other side, letting the knees fall towards the right. The left shoulder coming down towards the mat. Maybe arms spreading to a cactus or a T. Holding the chair for support if you're seated. As your gaze goes over towards the opposite arm. We notice the breath. Maybe we even return to having our eyes closed here. Beautiful. Let's curl in towards center. If you're on the floor, take one last ball shape. And then we're going to move into our final resting pose. If you're on the chair, we're going to come to a seated position, moving back. So our back is leaned on our chair. You want to take maybe a pillow or blanket and bring it to your lap. The weighted feeling can add some nice comfort here. If you're coming to the ground, you're more than welcome to for the first time today, or even grab a couch or someplace comfortable nearby. If you'd like to bring maybe a blanket to cover your body, or maybe even a pillow rolled up under the knees, this can feel really nice. Or maybe even something to cover your eyes in the sunshine. We're going to take just a few moments here to get completely relaxed, making any final movements or adjustments so that we can completely and totally relax on command. If you're on the floor, your palms can be face up, letting the hands rest by your side. And then if you haven't yet, cover your eyes or close them. We'll take a deep breath in. We'll hold it at the top. Taking in one more sip of air. One more. And then on your exhale, release into that final resting pose. Begin to soften your eyelids. Relax the space between your brows and the corners of your eyes. Allow your jaw to release, and even your tongue can soften. Feel your entire body follow. Complete relaxation as your breath becomes effortless and smooth. We'll begin to listen to each cycle of breath as one segment of time. Breathing in, breathing out. 1. Inhale. Exhale. 2. You will most assuredly notice sensations, thoughts, sounds, feelings, maybe even images floating into your mind like clouds in the sky. Within that cycle of breath, acknowledge the message without becoming attached, and then return to your focus on your breath. At first, this might feel really hard to return the mind to its focus on your breath. While you lay, your mind may race to the future or the past, creating conflict, making bigger stories, worrying, completely unaware of the reality of the current moment, which is you are simply laying, breathing. Know how you are right now. I am laying or sitting, breathing. Maybe whisper it in your mind as a way to anchor your thoughts. Feel your breath. Remember, you are simply sitting or laying. As As your mind strays, remind yourself of this current reality. Inhale by exhale, you will find your mind giving into the rhythm of your breath, and fewer thought clouds will stroll into the horizon of your mind. At first, maybe only brief moments might win. Your mind hasn't become more chaotic or even thoughtful. You are simply noticing how your mind is all the time. Breathe in, breathe out. I am laying or sitting, breathing. Noticing your thoughts as that. And returning to your focus on your breath. This is a sign of making progress in learning to be in your silence. I am laying or sitting. Breathe in, breathe out. Over the course of your next few breaths, I want you to start to come back into your current space. Draw your memory to something in the room that brings a smile to your face. Then allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Your mind feeling refreshed and alert for what we need to do today. Knowing you can always be kind to yourself and to those in your life each and every day. Begin to allow your muscles to regain enough tension to support your movement as you wiggle fingers and toes, and then flutter your eyes open. Sit for a moment or lay for a moment with your eyes open, becoming reoriented to the space you're in. You're laying in your time, in your way. Make it up to an upright position facing me. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey today. It was really an honor to lead you through these movements and meditation. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I hope you'll follow my channel, as I'll be adding more of both these type of chair and mat yoga classes. I'll add some more chair classes only, and also some options for some floor classes. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. Namaste.